Hello. In case you couldn't already tell by the name, I'm not a big fan of gender as a concept. In fact, I quite dislike it. Every single trait people say is the result of gender can just as fittingly be attributed to either biological sex or personality. And I've yet to find an argument for gender that can't also be made for a caste system. Because that's what they are at the end of the day. Complete with deeming those who break their caste as untouchables. But that's not what I'm here to discuss today. Too real for my fiction-only rule. I can't even have that though. You see, at some point in history, the people who enforce gender norms came together and decided which personality traits are considered masculine and which ones are considered feminine. Some of those are somewhat associated with biological sex, so even though I disagree with the concept, I can at least understand their point. But others make no logical sense whatsoever. Reddit calls those pointlessly gendered, and in my opinion the most pointlessly gendered thing ever, is having the lower body of an aquatic animal. Yes. I'm not kidding. Think about all the girls' media starring mermaids. Now try to think about a single boy's media starring merman. 'Cause I sure can't think of any, and even Google doesn't show any results. If there is any, then it's probably some obscure webcomic that solely exists to go against this norm. Oh, and don't you bring Aquaman, or Luca, or Poseidon, or the deep ones as examples. Those MFs have legs. Aquaman is literally just a guy who can live underwater. I'm talking human upper half with fish/cetacean/other sea creature lower half. Even seals will do despite having flippers instead of a tail. Just anything that doesn't include human-like legs. Even my man Keenan Taylor couldn't resist making his merfolk story a Yuri romance, where a woman both becomes a mermaid and ends up with a mermaid. Then again, his Harpy story was also somewhat of a Yuri romance, so maybe he just has a thing for girl x monster girl. No judging, I'm into that too. Now some of you might be tempted to say that this is okay because mermaids are a one-gender species. But you're triple wrong. Mermaid is the female merfolk, the male of which is called a merman. And it was actually the male version that's been around the longest, with the earliest depiction of a merfolk being a male Mesopotamian deity. This argument comes from mixing up the mermaids with the very mythologically similar sirens, harpies, or nymphs. But those are all different things, if just by technicality. I should probably make a video on one gender species one day. But my point is the same as in the beginning of the video. Why is the fantasy of being a merfolk considered so exclusively feminine? You can't tell me that guys just aren't into it cause there's just not a single example of it. It's like saying that humans are allergic to trilobite meat. There's just no way of knowing. And even if this concept does turn out to be less popular with boys, so what? Girls care more about clothes than boys do. Imagine if tomorrow the clothing industry decided to stop producing boys' clothes and double down on girls' clothes. And just like wearing boys' clothes, I know I technically am allowed to watch media aimed at girls, but I don't want to. I want versions of those aimed at men. But not in an obvious pandering way. In the way media in general is aimed for men. Anyway. I think I've ranted enough. I try to not make videos where I complain, cause I don't want to contribute to that side of the internet. But this is a topic I wanted to talk about, just in case I can reach someone who might be interested in making a merman story targeted at guys. Think about it. It can be an epic fantasy adventure with heroes and magic and monsters. And because the ocean is far bigger and harder to chart than land, you don't even need to keep track of where every little thing is. You can also go far crazier with the scale of both places and monsters. You can have way more factions and species than you would in a continent. You can draw inspiration from folklore from literally every part of the world, as well as create your own completely original ideas. It's a whole sea of possibilities. The world is your oyster. Don't be afraid to test the waters. I can't think of another pun. So I guess I'll end the video here. Seriously, consider this idea. It's an untapped niche. I'll see you in the next video whenever I upload it. Goodbye.